Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are just bringing through any messages or guidance that spirit feel that you need to hear the minute you click on this video. So I have 3 objects for you guys to choose from. Pile number 1 is the scissors. Pile number 2 is the nail file, and pile number 3 is the fob watch. So see which object you're drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I'll see you guys at your timestamps. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what is going on. It was just bouncing. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, there we go. We are taking a look at whatever guidance and messages your guides feel you need to hear right now. So you guys chose the scissors. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 1, please spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. What do my pile number 1s need to hear right now? What messages do my pile number 1s need to hear right now at the time they're watching this video? We have the moon. Pile number 1, please spirit guides, pile number 1. We have the 3 of Wands. Pile number 1, please spirit guides. We have the 8 of Swords. Pile number 1. And we have the 3 of Pentacles, which I'm going to cover up with my keyring, just in case. There we go. And that's the 3 of Pentacles. The back of the deck you have the 9 of Wands. Okay, so the first thing that's strongly coming through is for me to almost mention you do know you've grown and changed a lot since then. Now, I don't know what since then is for you guys. I don't know if you've been thinking back to a specific time period. But honestly, what I feel like I'm doing in this energy, I feel like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm almost anticipating or I'm projecting onto myself words that I feel would be said to me, and these words would have been said by like past connections, past relationships, past friendships, even maybe growing up. And I almost feel like I'm looking at my life, or I'm looking at myself through the lens of those eyes. So if you guys were put down by certain people in your life, if you guys, you know, had a friend that put you down, or you're just thinking of connections and relationships from like back in the day where they would have said things, I almost feel like they're playing in my brain because I'm hearing that song Wildflower by Billie Eilish when she sings, but I see her in the back of my mind all the time. I almost feel like these words are still circulating, so I'm almost viewing myself with an old lens, I guess, even though what I'm seeing when I'm tapping in is you in a completely different frequency, and these words are kind of spiraling around me. So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm kind of like, oh well, I bet this person would say this, and I'm sure this person would say that, or I'm almost kind of selling myself short because I'm looking at it through looking at my abilities and what I can do in this life through an old mindset, and it's almost playing in my ears. Now, with that being said, I feel like that sometimes is hooking you to old timelines and old energies where you may feel like you're going around in circles, or you may just feel like, why am I constantly thinking about this? Why am I going back to this? Now, what you're being called to do with this is, when I'm looking at the 3 of Wands going into the 8 of Swords, I keep being shown it's almost like I'm looking at like what would be like a pogo stick. Like I'm using something to kind of like jump and transmute. So these words that have been said to me, these things that have been said to me, or these views and projections that have been placed on me, that weren't the truth then and they're definitely not the truth now, I'm hearing. It's almost like I'm taking it and I'm transmuting it. Like I'm using it kind of like as ammunition. Like I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna show you. So it's like if you guys have been struggling with burnout or like a bit of like fog, like I don't know what to do, or I don't really feel motivated to do X, Y, and Z, I almost feel like I'm taking these words and it's almost like I'm transmuting it. I'm using it as like a fire to be like, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm using it at my own gain. It's circulating around me right now. These thoughts are in my brain, or these words that you have said are in my brain, they're here. So I'm going to take that and I'll show you exactly how I'm the exact opposite, or I'll show you exactly how it's done. It's almost like I'm using it, you know what I mean? I don't want to be shown like a boxing ring. It's like instead of feeding it and feeling sad and allowing it to take over me, it's almost like I'm batting it away in the sense of like, actually no. And in that way I feel like I'm taking my power back. I feel like I'm taking it back. So give me an example of this, please, spirit guides. Give me an example of this. I'm hearing Justin Bieber's song I'll Show You, and he basically sings about how he had loads of projection on him in his career, and people were saying all of these things, and he was like, I'm gonna show you, like I can like make it big or whatever. Like that's kind of like that song. And that's what I'm hearing in my mind's eye, because I feel like I want to take it and be like, look what I've done and look what I can do. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's things you've been wanting to get off the ground. I don't know if there's things you've been wanting to start up. But I almost feel like I'm using that as ammunition to get where I need to go. I feel like I'm using it as ammo. I feel like I'm taking, it's almost like I'm looking at it with a silver lining. I'm taking you know, the parts of it that I need to kind of like get me where I need to go. I feel like there's a fire, a flame that's just being activated within me, like, oh yeah, I'll show you, like sort of thing. You know, like when you see people in a boxing ring and then they say things to them and it gets them all pumped up. That's what I feel. Now, I don't know if you guys have your Mars in a fire sign. You could also have your Mars in Scorpio, but there's this feeling here where it's like, I feel like you guys work really, really well when you can channel any frustration, upset, and you can use it to transmute into like ambition, fire. Like I feel like that works really, really well for you, and I actually think it's a tool. Like I feel like you guys, if you were to go and work out, I feel like what would get you to work out is like turning any sort of like pain into power, turning any sort of frustration or sadness kind of like into power. And I feel like, I almost feel like there's a wand being placed back in my hand. Like I have that narrative back in my hand, like see, like I did this, I did that. Like I feel like it's kind of like bigging me up, and it's bringing that fire back to me. And there's something there where you're being called to do that, because the more you do that, you're feeding that fire within. And the more you feed that fire within, those layers of projection, those little voices saying you can't do this, you're not going to do this, they literally fall away. Because when we feed something, we give it power. And if we feed those words and we listen to those words and we take them on, it gives it power over us. It creates that kind of dent, it creates that cloak. But when we start to be like, we'll see, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to transmute this. When we start then to go down that road and do that, and we activate that fire within us, we are feeding that fire within us. We're feeding that confidence. We're feeding that, you know, I can do anything. I can do this. We start to feed it. And the more we feed that within us, those words, they have no room to fit anymore. We've fed such a fire within us. We've built ourselves up so strongly within. There's no room for those words anymore. And you just start forgetting about those opinions and those projections. There's no room for it. You've shined that light out. And I think those words and projections, or maybe even just because I feel like sometimes you look at yourself like a past version of you, and I don't know what that's about. I want to pull on that actually. I feel like I have no right to stand here and talk my ish. I feel like I have no right to put that work out into the world. I have no right to take up space, and that's not true. But I almost feel like I'm looking at it like that, like I don't have the right to kind of like shine. I'm telling myself that, but I'm only telling myself that because somebody made me feel like that, or somebody said that to me before. So now I feel like I'm kind of dimming my light for that. Where is this coming from, please, spirit guides? What else can you tell me about this energy, please, spirit guides? Where is this coming from? We have the Six of Swords. See, it's a past cycle. It's a past cycle. This is something that you've been working on, and the actual period, I feel like you've grown and evolved out of it. We've got the Two of Cups here as well. And the back of the deck, you have the Sun. Six of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Two of Cups. See, naturally, I think you're somebody that attracts people to you. I think you're somebody that naturally just draws in attention. I just think you have a very bright aura. I think you're the type of people, you're probably like the pile when I do my like what makes you attractive type of readings, where I'm like, you guys can be influencers, you guys like activate people and inspire people. You are that pile. And I think you do that really well. I think you've got such a bright frequency, and I think you've dealt with people in your past that have tried to push that down or kind of tell you don't draw that attraction, and even maybe at times maybe even distill in fear into you. Oh, if you do that, then this person won't be happy, or if you do that, you'll attract the wrong type of attention. Like, I feel like people have also maybe projected like fear into you as well, because I almost feel like you're going to say something, or you're standing up for yourself, or you're just making like any sort of like comment, like whatever, and I see somebody looking at you and giving you like a really stern stare, like as if like, don't. And I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was a person in your life. It feels like a female energy that I'm being shown, because it's making me think of Miranda from The Devil Wears Prada. It's like a female energy coming through. So I don't know if that was a mother or a grandmother. It could have been a friend, an older sibling, or a friend growing up. But I feel like you've dealt with that a lot. I think you have very like, as well, I think you have very like maybe raw opinions, or you really see like deep into something. And I think you feel quite fiery, to be honest with you. Leo, Sag, Aries is coming up quite strong here. And I think sometimes people might not want the light uncovered at times and try to shush you, you know what I mean? I think that you've dealt with that, but I think you have a lot to say, and I think that you've definitely been doing work in order to feel comfortable and being seen, and in order to feel confident within yourself. And I think that's why these like words are coming up, and these, you know, opinions or whatever are flowing up. And I think it's more so about not feeding them and feeding into your own core values and beliefs, especially if you guys resonate with, you know, being an empath, or, you know, you guys have psychic abilities. We struggle sometimes with those abilities because we're naturally used to tailor into other people. We're naturally used to responding to other people's energy, that sometimes we can act as like a chameleon. Some people say chameleon, chameleon, whichever one. Like, we act as that to mold into somebody else's energy. We sometimes forget our own needs and who we are. And I think the more you're understanding this is me, these are my opinions, the more you start feeding that and transmuting, you know, oh, you said this, look at this. Like, the more you start to pour and feed into that fire within you, I think that these opinions then are going to fall away. And I think it's natural sometimes when that happens for there to be a bit of a fight, in terms of, you know, we start to raise our voice, we start to, you know, put our voice out there, we start to say our opinions, we start to shine bright. Naturally then what happens is we're going to start getting a bit of Five of Wands energy. We're going to start getting, you know, people trying to bash us, you know, and shut us out. And that initial beginning part can be quite, but I feel like the more you feed that energy within yourself, you're going to be more confident, the more you're not going to take on whatever people are projecting. And I feel like you're just going to shine and take up that space, because I really do feel that's what you're meant to do. And I feel like that's an energy you're stepping into at the moment with the Sun card at the back of the deck. I think that you may be playing out old cycles right now, and you're being called not to feed them, like the projections. I feel like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm hearing other people say things about me, and whether it was true, or maybe it was true at a certain time, I don't know, but it's like, it's not true now though. That's what Spirit's saying to me, like, whatever it is, a narrative that you're hearing about yourself or you feel about yourself, that's not true. Like, you know yourself. And I think focusing and feeding, you know, who you really are, and that core part of you, and you know, your own values and who you are, and pouring into that fire within you, I feel like that's really going to help you the more that you feed it, you know, because essentially then you're feeding your own light that you give out to others back to yourself. And I actually feel I feel topped up in doing that. I think that you really big other people up. I think that you give a lot of love out. I think that you inspire people, and I think you pouring that back into yourself and being your own number one fan, I think you're really going to feel topped up, especially if you've been feeling drained recently. Pile number one, I've just thrown the cards all over the floor. Hang on. Pile number one, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. What do my pile number 1s need to hear right now? We have politics. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. We have consciousness. Pile number 1. And we have success. And the back of the deck, we have letting go. Yeah, there's a big theme of that in this pile, to be honest with you, especially with you choosing the scissors, you know, cutting off and letting go, severing the ties. Yeah, I feel like your mind is still in the factory setting of who you once were, what you once were able to achieve, etc., etc. And I think there's a rewiring that needs to happen. And I think I feel like you heard something over and over again, or it just repeated itself. Like it would have happened in the home, like somebody putting you down, or somebody getting you to be quiet, or somebody, you know, trying to box you in, basically. And then I feel like it repeated itself because it was like a wire in your brain, you know. And when you think of, like, for example, the subconscious mind, the first 7 years, you know, of a child's life, they are really susceptible, and that kind of creates the factory setting for a child, whatever they're taught in that 7 years. And when we do things like inner work and we transmute, we're able to hack into that system and really change the hard wiring. And I think the more, honestly, I know affirmations, some people are like, oh, affirmations don't do anything. I really do feel affirmations would work for you guys. And doing little things to really pour into you, you know, having a little you know, morning routine or something where you're, you know, being your number 1 fan, you're giving that energy to you, doing things that make you feel good. Because honestly, I think with you, when you feel good, when you feel happy, when you feel like confident, you know, attractive, or whatever it is, whichever one lights you up, it's going to be different for all of you. I think that is when you're able to give a lot more, because I think that is a big part of, like, your gold, in the sense of that is a big part of like that fire energy within you, that solar plexus energy. I do feel like that's kind of like a gift for you. I think that part of you, that solar plexus energy, you feeling confident, you feeling good, you feeling motivated, I think that is when you're in top form. And I think that's your gold. I think that's what you're here to shine out. And I think you making sure that you feel that way is kind of like your own medicine, you know what I mean, to kind of like activate you. And I think those affirmations and, you know, putting that power back into your own hands, I think that's really, really going to help you. But I feel like affirmations would be really good. If you guys prefer to write them down, that's cool as well. But I just think affirmations in the mirror as well would just, you know, be something that would really work for you guys. In terms of politics, with that card coming out, I feel, tap me deeper into that. I feel, I don't know why there's like a rebellious energy coming from you. Like I said, I feel like you see deep. I feel like you, with a light, we expose things. We expose what's being done in the dark. And when we're feeling confident and we're feeling good, you know, if somebody isn't feeling the best and they don't know how to deal with that, sometimes they can take that out on the person shining the light. And I feel like you've dealt with that. I feel like you've dealt with people like not wanting you to speak about certain things, or shine your light on certain things, or be like a certain version of yourself, because it's like they've been taught to hide it away. I feel like that's where you've dealt with a lot of projection and people putting you down. And I think you're meant to, in this life, activate a level of abundance for yourself. I actually think that you're somebody that you could weed out any garden and make, you know, create abundance and plant that tree to get, you know, the fruit off the tree. Like, I feel like you're somebody that's really able to do that. I feel like you're somebody that's very ambitious, very passionate. I feel like you're someone that can turn nothing into something, you know. I feel like you're one of those people. I feel like you can find inspiration anywhere. And I think it's because with the middle card being consciousness, I feel like you see from such a high perspective. I feel like you are really connected to the divine, and I feel like you're able to see endless possibilities there. But I feel like people shoot you before you even get a chance to like execute them sometimes, or when you start to execute them, people try and like ridicule it. But I think you're meant to try out different things. I think you're meant to jump out of the box, and I think you're meant to inspire other people to do so. And in doing that, we get projections, you know, we get people to try and put us back in the box. You know, maybe they were told that they couldn't jump out of their own box, so they're projecting it onto us. Or maybe they feel insecure and they don't want the other person, you know, they feel safe when the other person's in the box. That can happen as well. But I feel like you've had a lot of words and projections said to you, and it's ringing there. And I feel like the less you feed it, the more you feed yourself. I think that is how you're going to jump out of that. I don't think it's necessary. I think you've done the work in terms of like going back to the past, clearing out what this person said, what that person said, because there's nothing too like deeply ingrained and like emotional that I'm picking up. This feels more like a rewiring. This feels more like, let me remind myself the wand is in my hand, like let me rewire the hard drive. Like that's kind of like what I feel this is. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just firing that energy back to me. Even if you can do Reiki on yourself, or you can do any healing work on yourself as well, or even go to like a Reiki healer or anyone that does energy work, I also feel like that would be something that would be good. But I feel like for you guys, you also are very self-sufficient in terms of like, I feel like you're able to transmute anything. Yeah, so that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys at my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pals, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what messages and guidance spirit have for you right now. So you guys chose the file, the nail file. I'm going to start with tarot and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please spirit guides. Pile number 2. What guidance and messages do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? What guidance and messages do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? We have the 7 of Pentacles. What guidance and messages do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? We have the 8 of Pentacles. I'm just going to cover her up. Here's my keyring. We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Chariot. And one more card, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. What do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? Two of Cups. Back of the deck, you have the 7 of Cups. Okay. I'm being shown like the merging of two pathways. I'm being shown the merging of two pathways, so two pathways coming together into one. I don't know if throughout the summer just gone, or if you're watching this at a later date, like it could even be over the last year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. I feel like there's like I'm being shown like a tidal wave with the water coming back to shore. Like, okay, we're merging into another timeline now. And there's almost like a little bit of hard graft, but not in the sense of like anything too downtrodden. I feel like my head's down because I'm focused on something. Like I feel very tunnel vision. So if you guys have been called to get your head down with like studying something, passing something, getting a business out there, doing things behind the scenes, going to the gym, I really see that over the next couple of months. Like I kind of feel, when I say boxed in, this is in a good way. I literally feel like my head is down, like I'm training for something, because like I said, there's these two pathways starting to merge, if that makes sense. And when you think of like a nail file, you know, we're forming the shape of a nail. So something right now is being formed. And when I tend to find that something is being formed energetically for us, I tend to find that things are a little bit more fated than usual, in the sense of think of like when the waves take you, you know, you have free will to get in the water, you have free will to get out, unless you're caught in a tidal wave. You have free will to swim up, down, left, right. But there are times where the wave is just going to take you in a specific place. The wave is just going to, you know, bring you up into the air or take you down under. Like the wave is going to take you. Right now, I feel like there's like a wave of energy surrounding you in a good way. Like I see a lot of help from spirit as well. But this feels very like you would see it in mundane. Like, oh, I really want to go to the gym, but I don't really know if I should really go. And then like you just get a text from your friend like, hey, I'm going to the gym, do you want me to come and pick you up? And you're like, oh, that's easy, yeah, okay. Like little things like that, making things smoother. I feel like I've caught a wave. It's making me think of Nemo, where they go with the turtles through the water to get to that bay place they need to go to, and the turtles like follow that current and that wave. That's what I feel. I think that's the energy that you're in right now, when I almost feel like things are being accelerated and I'm being taken somewhere. And whilst that's happening, I feel very like focused on, in regards to what's in front of me. I feel like I'm biding my time. I feel like I'm putting my energy in a specific place. Do not worry if right now you do not feel like super connected to spirit right now, needing to channel all the time. Spirit's around you very strongly, but there is a need and a focus to be in the physical. You could have already felt that in terms of your eating habits may have changed. You may be wanting to eat things that are a bit more heavier and you know, things that really ground and root you. You may have found that you've wanted to move around and work out a little bit more. You may be craving structure. Because I feel like you're on it. That's literally what's happening right now. And I feel like this may happen. I'm being shown the number 7, so for around 7 months. And I feel like you're at the beginning stages of it. A lot is changing in these 7 months. I'm thinking of Taurus, where like we're moving slowly, we're taking our time. In this little wave, you might not even feel like you're moving. You know what I mean? So you're just like, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to pass this test, or I'm going to get this car, or I'm going to get this home, or I'm going to sign up for this course, or I'm going to, you know, whatever it is. You are focusing on those physical things, and I feel like energetically then things are shifting. And I even think the things you're going to physically focus on, so whatever you've been called to do, there's a reason you're focusing on it. There's a reason you're wanting to get it done or get it passed or get it sorted. There's a reason, and it's because it's going to be needed in the next phase, wherever it is you're headed. There's timelines being merged together, and right now I feel like you're doing the groundwork. It's making me think, if you've ever played Animal Crossing, and I haven't played New Horizons yet, so if you have played New Horizons, let me know if it's good, because I'm looking to get that. But anyway, when you'd play Animal Crossing, you'd be in this like little town, and when you'd first start, you'd have this tiny little home, or sometimes you'd have a tent, and you basically have to like work for this little fox raccoon guy called Tom Nook, and you have to pay off your house. And like the first like day or two of the game, you're literally running around collecting all types of, you know, fruit or whatever to, you know, get money to buy off your house and sell it to get like a house. And, you know, you put in that graft in the first couple of days. And that's the phase, if I had to put it onto anything, you know, if I have to put it onto Animal Crossing, I will, that you're in. I feel like you're getting the kind of groundwork sorted for whatever it is that you're jumping to. So some of you guys may have been away doing inner work, like you could have been like, you know, gone through a shadow period, isolated, doing, you know, shadow work or inner work. Or some of you guys could have gone through a phase where you were in like a dream-like mode, where you weren't really getting up to much, but you were like thinking about, oh, I want to do this and I'd like to align with this, and I, you know, that swing of the pendulum where you were just kind of like wondering and dreaming up where you'd like to go next, maybe getting to know yourself, to know where you want to go next. That could have been it. But either way, some of you guys as well could have even been manifesting a new phase. But I feel like you've been in that frequency and that energy where there's been somewhat of a clear out for a lot of you guys. But there's also been like a rebirth in terms of like activations, because I'm being shown flowers literally blooming here with these cards. And I think right now what's happening is you're kind of like, you've been walking the walk. I feel like, well, you've been talking the talk, now you're walking the walk. I think you're physically making literal changes in your physical life, because it's like, okay, well, we need to mirror this area of our life to where we're going. And I think that's what you know, you're being merged with. There's something about 7 months, and I keep feeling like I'm finding coins and I'm upgrading. Somebody here must play like the Switch or something, because I'm thinking of Super Mario, where he gets the mushrooms and he grows, and he gets like the big one and then he gets really, really big. So some of you guys here may like to play on the Switch and stuff. But yeah, I feel like every time I feel like I'm reaching a coin, like I'm getting this coin, it almost like activates me. I feel like I'm it almost like pushes me forward in a way. It's like, oh my god, I'm here, oh my god, I'm here. So any goals that have come into your mind, even if they're so little, like I'd like to, even if it's like, oh, I'm saving up because I want to book a holiday here, I want to go on vacation here, or because it doesn't even have to be like, I need to pass this, I need to do this. They're like little points that are going to get you places. They're like little seeds that are going to bloom and activate. So these little ideas that you have in your head right now, whatever it is you're being drawn to, whatever it is that you're excited for, whatever it is that's inspiring you, whatever it is that you wanted to put your head down with, whatever routine you're starting, it doesn't have to be the, 9 to 5, like wake up at this. It can be whatever you're being drawn to. You'll know what it is. There's a reason for it. I see tunnel vision over the next 7 months. I see you sticking to something. And I see you being taken where you need to go by that current. There's a lot of spirit kind of like picking you up from the pot that you're in and popping you in another one. And I think that's a focus as well in terms of you grounding, because it's like ground yourself while these currents are moving. But I'm very focused on the physical, so don't worry if you're not feeling super celestial, or super connected to spirit in terms of channeling all the time, because there's a time and a place. And I think right now it's like, no, we need to root. I almost feel like we've been in that energy. We need to root now. Something's being molded with the nail file. Something's being molded. Yeah, I'm seeing like manifestations coming. I don't know why. This is just for some of you guys. If you find, I feel like I'm seeing rainbow auras. So like I'm going to sleep and I can see rainbows, or I'm no matter what it is, I'm catching rainbows. Like, when you look at a crystal, or you have like a wind chime, like a, what are they called? Glass sun catchers, that's it. And you catch like a rainbow, or even like literal real rainbows, you may be seeing them a lot. There's something about that, like the colours of the rainbow, or just seeing rainbow auras a lot. What is the rainbow aura for? Please, spirit guides, what is the rainbow aura? What is the rainbow aura? There's two things. The first one that I'm saying is that if you're genuinely seeing rainbows, end of one cycle, beginning of a new, you're closing up a chapter. But also in terms of the frequency and the colour, think of it like frequencies, what you're picking up on and what you're catching, because there's so many colours in the world and auras and energies that we just genuinely can't see with a naked eye. And they can become way more aware, to us, when we are more susceptible, because it's interesting, you feel very open spiritually, but I see you feeling like, I feel really grounded, I don't feel connected to spirit, but energetically you feel very open, because all that energy is being funneled into your lower 3 chakras, I feel. I also don't see, we're always doing inner work, we're always clearing and whatever, but I almost feel like you've done a lot of it, because I feel like a book is shut. I'm very focused on bigging up the physical right now. Not that like, oh, I'm not going to be emotional, I'm not going to cry, like, not that at all. I just feel like I've done so much of it. We're swinging to the other pendulum where it's like game mode is on, and I'm expanding maybe logically, or I'm expanding in the physical, and that sort of mode. You're balancing it out, you're not getting rid of anything, because it's all a part of you, it's already been activated within you, but we're swinging to the other side of the pendulum to balance something out. I feel like I'm like ready, set, go, and then I'm sprinting. I feel like I'm training for something. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What message do my pile number 2s need to hear right now? We have literally changed. I feel like there's going to be a lot of physical change over the next 7 months, but I think it's going to happen gradually. So like, there's going to be these little changes implemented that you're not going to think anything different, and then within about 7 months, it could be a bit more, could be a bit less, you're going to look back and be like, oh my god, that feels like 5 years ago, that was like a different time period, because of the changes you would have made. And you're very much focused on the progress and not the result. It's very much like, my head's down and I'm just focusing on this, because you're not worrying too much about the result. The result then comes because you're just focusing on the progress and you're enjoying it, We literally have possibilities. One more card, please, Spirit. Oh, Spirit guides. Completion. Yeah, I feel like you're ending a cycle. The back of the deck, you have the Creator. I feel like you guys have manifested this though. I feel like you guys have been aligning with a timeline. I feel like you guys have been aligning with, you know, manifestations that you wanted, or you've been clearing out so much, then so much has then been activated within you that it's like, well, this physical world that we're seeing, you know, in front of us, it needs to match what's going on within now, you know? I'm no longer who I am, so I'm no longer who I was, so the physical world is now catching up. So you're in that stream of energy while the physical world is catching up with shifts that you've made within. This has all come from within. You've been doing this, you've been making that change is leading, you know, the reading. You've been doing that, you've been already sowing the seeds within. I think you're starting to mirror that now into the physical, which is really, you know, really beautiful. And then we've got possibilities and completion. So I feel like, you know, I feel like you're jumping onto then that timeline. There's that completion, and I think that even when you touch your feet down, I think that you're then gonna have ideas of where to go next. It's like, oh my god, I can build so much here. Like, what if I build this? What if I do this? Like this, I feel like you're gonna see so much more. I feel like life is gonna feel like it's opening up for you. That's what I'm being shown. But with completion, yeah, I feel like you've already ended the cycle. You're in the stream now. You're in the stream that's carrying you where you need to go. That's really where you're at. But really pay attention to anything that inspires you right now. Any goals you want to put down, there's a reason that you're getting them. And I think Spirit may be showing up in the everyday mundane for you as well to give you messages. So you may be seeing literal angel numbers a lot. You know, I tend to find the more in a celestial kind of like frequency I am, the more I'm channeling. I don't necessarily see angel numbers so much. It's when I'm grounded and rooted a lot more I see the angel numbers. It's quite interesting. I don't know if anyone else has that, but there we go. But I yeah, I see like little things in the physical, so like angel numbers, songs playing, I'm being shown gifts being handed to you that you may need later on. And that could also be the gift of like a word, like somebody saying something to you or putting an idea in your head. So pay attention to the advice of others, because I think Spirit may be speaking through other people to you. Don't just bat off advice from others. I think Spirit might be passing it on to you. Go here, do this, try this coffee shop, put your head down with this, start, you know, take this course, slow down with this. Like, I feel like Spirit may be speaking through other people or speaking through music to you. I'm even being shown somebody in a coffee shop looking at posters, and there's like an arrow being pointed directly to the person through the poster, and it's like, don't do this or do this. I'm seeing that as well. So I feel Spirit's going to show up in the physical a lot, because I feel like that's where your focus. The Spirit's coming into the physical to give you messages. I feel may also bring animals and insects as messages. Yeah, so that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Path 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance and messages do Spirit have for you right now. So you guys chose the fob watch. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, Spirit guides. Pile number 3. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? We have the 9 of Swords. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? We have the 10 of Swords. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? We have the Magician. What do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? And we have the Fool. The back of the deck, you have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, I don't know if recently you've been purging a lot, if you've been transmuting a lot, if you guys have been, it doesn't even have to be like you've been choosing to do the inner work. You could have actually, you know, gone through an experience where your heart has been very heavy. You know, there may have been like a lot of chaos. I just see a lot of emotion that's flowing out. There's a really big message here over the next couple of months. It's a very simple message. There's a reference to move slow and steady, but also to nurture and cradle your own being. That's a really, really strong message that is coming through, because when you think about it, when we have a cut, when we have like, you know, a cut in our skin, we take care of it. You know, we don't get, you know, rough and ready and make it worse. We put the cream on it, we, you know, put the band-aid on it, we bandage it, we, you know, we look after it, and we're careful in that area. Then, you know, we take our time. We don't just start, you know, plucking at it or whatever. It can make it worse and make it bleed out. So there's a reference here to almost like do the same but with yourself right now. Like, I almost feel like I want to nurture myself. I literally feel like I want to cradle myself. I want to hold myself. I want to pour into myself. I want to pick myself up. I want to really like love on myself right now. That's how I feel. I'm feeling very cozy. Like, it's making me think of like winter when you hibernate and everything's nice and cozy and you just kind of have your little candle on and you're watching TV. Like, there's that sort of vibe that I'm getting. There's a reference of resting right now, because the thing is, when we do inner work, shadow work, inner child healing, whatever it is, our body does not know the difference of like today and 5 years ago. When we are experiencing those heavy emotions, our body goes through it, the adrenaline, whatever it is, like we, you know, just like it's happening right now when we're working through those emotions. It could have been 7 years ago, but when we start to feel it and allow it to pass through, our body, you know, is going through it like it's happening right now. And that can take a toll on us. That can take a toll on our energy. That can make us feel very tired, very stagnant. And there's a reference to really give yourself grace, because I feel like, especially with the Ten of Swords, like I feel like I'm plucking things out of me, and I've really passed through some really ugly emotions that maybe I'd hidden from, that I had to bury down at the time. Maybe I didn't understand them at the time, so they just got repressed. And I feel like you've been really brave and really open in terms of passing them through, because I see, like, I literally feel like there's like emotions kind of like spilling out. I'm seeing things seeping out. So I feel like that's what you've been doing, and that is really big transformational work, because when we remove those energies from within us, when we allow them to pass through, when we allow them to, you know, come out of us, and we pluck them away, what happens then is we that's gone, and then we have empty space. And in that empty space, there's going to be parts of us that we've never even met before that are going to start to be activated, that are going to start to grow. We're now going to go through a phase where we're going to start meeting parts of ourselves that we hid. It was hid under trauma, it was hid under hurt, it was hid under pain, and that takes time. You know, I always see when people do like, you know, inner work or shadow work, or if they go through something big like an ego death or whatever, it's like, well, I've done the inner work, why hasn't anything changed? And it's like, have you rested? You know what I mean? You need to chill. Like, your energy, you've only just gone through that. You need to recalibrate. And then through the recalibration, it's like we meet versions of ourselves, and that takes time, because we want to get to know those versions of ourselves. We want to understand those versions of ourselves. We want to nurture those versions of ourselves, listen to them. They have messages for us, they have gifts for us. And honestly, when I look back as well, like, some of my favorite times were when I was in that stage where I was just blooming and not a lot went on. It was pretty chill, there wasn't too much physical change, but it was like little by little I was meeting aspects of myself and awakening to parts of myself that I hadn't met, I didn't even know were in me. And that's such a beautiful thing. And you start to get to know yourself and your needs and all of that. It's beautiful. And I feel like that's a phase you'll be passing through, unless you're currently passing through it now. And that takes you then to that new beginning, you know, with the Fool card, then it leads into the Fool card. That's what takes you there. And it all takes time. It's like nature takes time. It isn't just a seed and then an apple. You know what I mean? The seed goes into the ground. It grows its roots before it even emerges from the soil, and then it grows, and then the branches grow, and then the fruit, you know, it's like a little flower, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's ripe enough. It all takes its time, and every single part of the journey is a vital part of the journey to understand ourselves and nurture ourselves. And it's such it's like there's a message to really fall in love with the journey and where you're at, even if right now it's just like, I'm just taking care of myself right now, I'm just nurturing myself right now, because I feel like that pathway, then even when things might be moving a little slow, those little sprouts that come from the compost, like, you know, from the soil, the little sprouts of leaves, like, they literally feel like you're getting a piece of yourself back, and it's so beautiful. And, you know, take your time getting to know that version of you. Take your time getting to know these beautiful aspects that come through, and take your time also just holding yourself and cradling yourself and, you know, nurturing yourself, because we don't realize the amount of work that not only our body goes through, but our energetic body, our emotional body goes through when we are transmuting and feeling all of that energy back, because our body still feels like it. Our body believes that it's happening right now, you know, because technically with that emotion being moved from the body, it is happening right now. And that's a lot, you know what I mean? And I know you may be looking like at timelines and like, oh, but why haven't I achieved this yet? And what about this? And I really need to get my head down on all of this. But when we do that type of work, it changes so much that we just don't even see yet. We don't see till we look back and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I cleared that much out. I can't believe that I was going through all of that and transmuting it out. It's not till we look back that we're like, oh my God, that was so much. Why was I trying to push through it? Why was I being hard on myself? That was so much. And that's why you're being called to give yourself grace. You know what I mean? And take care of your energy right now, and take care of yourself. Because it takes time, and there's just a lot you're not seeing right now. I keep being shown what is the phoenix. That's what Spirit's showing me for you. But you might not be able to see that. And also, you know, when we are aligning with new timelines and we do activate new, you know, parts of ourselves out, when we do that, there's timelines then being woven, connected to those new parts of ourselves that we can't see yet, because we haven't activated that part of ourselves yet. So we haven't walked through the doorway. It's still waiting to emerge from the soil, and it's making its way, you know, into that. And when it merges through the soil, boop, there's a doorway. You know what I mean? There's a pathway to walk down. And I feel like that's what's happening, but you might not be able to see it yet because it still might be under the soil. But I really do feel that's the really big message that I'm more so being called to focus on right now, is to pour into you. Understand the work that you've been doing is heavy, whatever it is you've been clearing, or maybe whatever it is you've just gone through is heavy, and allow yourself grace, allow yourself to recuperate. You know, when the cats are out playing, you know, all day, they don't continue to play. They come home and they have their rest. They know when to have those little naps and chill out. You know what I mean? Knowing when to stop and start is vital. And we forget, you know, because a lot of purging, it's us sitting, you know, in our room, our living room, our kitchen, wherever it is, crying, you know, and getting it out and speaking it out, or whatever it is. And we sometimes forget to look at that as work, you know. We forget to look at it as work, and we don't think we're really doing anything, but we are. And in fact, it's one of the heaviest, you know, heaviest things that we can go through. And there's a message of grace here to not be so hard on yourself. I'm hearing Billy Joel's Vienna, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? I'm hearing that. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 3. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. What guidance and messages do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? We have new vision. What guidance and messages do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? We have the burden. What guidance... Oh, goodness, I dropped them. Hang on. What guidance do my pile number 3s need to hear right now? I feel like bathing, like baths, are going to be really helpful for you guys. I always find that being in big bodies of water always comes through for my collective. Just healing throughout water. I mean, water is very healing. We have beyond illusion. So like I said, there's a lot going on that I feel like you can't see right now. I'll pop that bit here. I think there's a lot going on that you can't see that's moving. But it doesn't mean that it's not moving just because you can't see it yet. New vision, like I said, I feel like there are parts of you that are going to start emerging over the next couple of months, I would say. I'm being shown the number 5, so it could be within the next 5 months, and I feel like pieces of me are coming back. It's like pieces of me are coming back, and every time I get that piece of me back, a doorway opens, because we've just activated it. So now there's timelines, you know, unraveling now for me to walk down. That's what I see happening. I see, like, I'm looking at life through a new set of eyes, is what I'm doing, and that's taken time to like adjust and for me to get used to. And I think as well, tap me into the burden card first, actually, please, Spirit guys. Tap me into the burden card. Why do we have that card? I feel like there were a lot of weights that I feel held you back in the past, and I feel like you just put them down. But can you imagine, like, imagine lifting weights every day? Imagine like the pain your muscles would be in. And what do we do when we're in the gym and we, you know, we're lifting muscles when we're lifting weights and things? We have rest days. The rest days are vital, and that's where you're being called into that rest energy, because you've been lifting those weights for some time. They've been stored energetically within you, or maybe you've been going through an experience that was very heavy. The other day I was walking, I took my sister shopping to get things for college, and I had a really heavy bag on my arm, and the next day my arm hurt. Like, my arm literally hurt. So, you know, I let my arm chill the next day. So there's that sort of message coming through here. I feel like you had a lot of burdens. I feel like you had a lot of hurt. I feel like you were carrying a lot of weights. And now it's time to rest. Now that you've put them down, you no longer need to carry them, and that's your own work, you know, and your own doing, that you don't need to carry them anymore. You've done that work to get that, which is beautiful. And with comparison, it's more so, and I always say this, like, when we go through trauma, we go through, you know, certain experiences, we kind of, especially if it's in childhood or whatever it is, and we have like wounds and trauma to clear, sometimes we can feel like we're a little bit behind our peers that didn't have those experiences, because we're juggling weights then, you know. It's like when we're running, it's like running with a weighted vest while everyone else is running without one. It's slowing us down a bit, you know, and that happens. So don't compare yourself. We're all on different timelines. We're all moving at different paces. We all go through different cycles, and I feel like there's a message there to really give yourself grace in regards to how far you've come, because I feel like you've had a lot of layers on top that you've had to peel off first. So please don't compare yourself to where other people are, because I mean, there's a bunch of you watching this, so a bunch of you are in, you know, that same frequency and that same energy and doing that work to grow. And I get the message as well, like, if you've ever played Super Mario, when you play Super Mario Kart, you get the bullets. You can be behind everyone on the race, and then you get that bullet, and then it just shoots you to the front. And that can happen a lot of the times when we do, you know, that kind of like inner work, because it transforms so much, you know, so much. And the Spirit's also saying it's a marathon, not a race, as well. And I'm hearing you're here for you. That's also a message. I don't know what that's in aid of. You're here for you. I don't know what that was for. But yeah, please take it easy right now. I know it's such a simple message, but that's what came through. So take it easy. Please rest. Please allow yourself. Sometimes we just need the reminder, and I really just think that's what this pile is. Please take your time, nurture yourself, give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. Maybe get yourself a little sweet treat or something to just make yourself feel good. It's a time of nurturing right now, I feel, while you recalibrate, and I feel spirits around you doing the same thing. If you hear noises, it's my cats. Padme's just come to join us at the end of the reading. Yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.